Have you ever felt like your mind just won't stop racing? Like no matter how much you try to relax, anxiety keeps creeping back in. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. I'm Dr. Monica Frank with Excel at Life, and I created this podcast to help you understand and manage anxiety in a way that really works. With over 30 years of experience as a psychologist specializing in anxiety disorders, I've seen firsthand how effective cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT for short, can be in helping people regain control of their lives. From the start of my career, I was drawn to CBT because it delivers real, lasting results. Over the years, I've worked with individuals in therapy and even developed a day treatment program for those struggling with severe anxiety. My goal has always been to provide practical, evidence-based tools that truly make a difference. Even though I'm retired from private practice, I want to share what I've learned with you so that you can start managing your anxiety in a structured, effective way. For the best results, I recommend using these podcasts alongside my Android app, Quieting Anxiety. This app includes interactive resources, CBT exercises, and audios that guide you through mindfulness and relaxation techniques. The app provides a number of interactive resources to help you engage with CBT in an effective way. Throughout these podcasts, I'll often refer to some of these tools and discuss how to use them most effectively. And before you ask, this app is currently only available on Android devices. However, there are inexpensive Android tablets available, and you can download the app over Wi-Fi, so you don't need a data plan to use the app. The audios as well can be downloaded into the app for offline use. And all the audios and the reading can be found at excelatlife.com. I've included these links to all these resources in the podcast description. Although the interactive resources are only in the app, you can also keep a journal of many of the exercises. That's the way we used to do it in the old days. I think having interactive apps have certainly made CBT easier to navigate and more effective. Now, it's understandable when anxiety feels overwhelming to want immediate relief. But I encourage you to follow each step of this program as intended, because taking things in order will give you the strongest foundation for lasting change. Although I will provide some initial anxiety management skills to help you focus on this information, keep in mind that at first you are learning about anxiety, and then later you will learn how to manage it. My method follows a structured approach with 5 key stages: preparation, education, skills practice, treatment methods, and lifestyle changes. The initial stages of preparation and education are just as important as the later stages of skills practice and treatment methods. In fact, in some ways, the initial stages are more important, because the more you understand anxiety and the process of treating it, the more likely you are to manage it successfully. So don't be tempted to skip ahead. Taking the time to build a strong foundation will lead to better long-term results. I know it takes some patience to focus on these initial steps, but we are talking about life-changing skills. Many people have spent years in school or a trade before becoming competent or expert in their work skills. You have decided to take on learning skills that will affect the rest of your life. I'm not saying this will take years to learn, but that you need to take whatever time is necessary to learn each skill. Sometimes the most difficult part of therapy is holding back from moving too quickly. For instance, I once worked with a client using exposure therapy. He had panic attacks when entering large open spaces. We had planned for him to go into a mall for the first time alone and simply stand near the entrance while managing his anxiety. However, because he felt confident and didn't have initial anxiety, he went much farther than planned. Because he wasn't fully prepared for this step, he experienced a panic attack, which set him back. This is why it's so important to take things one step at a time. Rushing the process can make anxiety worse instead of better. One of the biggest obstacles in overcoming anxiety is focusing too much on the end goal. It's easy to feel discouraged when comparing where you are now to where you want to be. Instead, I encourage you to focus on one step at a time, because progress happens in small, manageable steps. Many times in my life, I've taken on major projects and thought, I'll never be able to do that. Like when I first started martial arts training, I thought I would never be proficient enough to earn a black belt, which required demonstrating hundreds of self-defense techniques, and after 2 hours of total exhaustion, fighting 3 black belts. I'll never be able to do that, I thought when I was a white belt, an orange belt, or even a blue belt. But I learned to put that negative belief aside and focus on what I needed to do first. The only important question is, what do I need to do now? In the same way, when learning to manage your anxiety, if you take the steps in order and learn what you need to do now, you will build confidence and the future will take care of itself. The final stage, lifestyle changes, is often the most overlooked but also the most crucial. Once you start feeling better, it's easy to assume you don't need to keep up with these practices. But just like exercise, anxiety management is an ongoing process. The skills you develop here aren't just temporary fixes. They're tools for lifelong resilience. Over the years, I've seen clients successfully manage their anxiety, only to return later to therapy because they stopped using their skills. The key is to integrate these practices into your daily life so they become second nature. If you exercise and feel healthier, but stop exercising because you feel good, you will revert back to being unhealthy. These skills are the same. You are developing skills so that you can manage anxiety over your lifetime. The secondary positive effect of making them part of your lifestyle is that the same skills can help in so many areas of your life, not just with anxiety. I have often told clients that they are learning skills that others who manage life stresses and anxiety already use. How often have you heard people say, I took a deep breath and then when referring to a stressful situation? These are natural skills that help people cope with life. To get you started, each podcast will begin and end with quick, effective techniques for reducing anxiety in the moment. While these aren't a cure-all, they'll help you stay focused on the larger goal of long-term anxiety management. Techniques like muscle scanning, tense and release exercises, and mindful stretching can be practiced anywhere and provide relief in just a few minutes. Even if you don't feel immediate results, practicing these methods regularly will make them more effective over time. Check the podcast description for links to the audios teaching these techniques. Most of the time, once someone has become proficient in their use, people can obtain immediate benefit from these short techniques, and they are simple methods easy to remember. They may not be as effective when anxiety has reached a high level, unless other methods have been practiced routinely. The more you practice the other methods of relaxation, the more effective these shorter techniques can become to aid you in having panic or high anxiety. Once you know these techniques, they are available to you just about any time and any place. You do not need to have a quiet place to close your eyes for 20 minutes and listen to an audio. Most of these short techniques, once learned, can be used when doing something else. For instance, you can do mindful breathing while talking to someone or sitting in a meeting. Each of these episodes, I will leave you with a few task and reflection questions, things to think about and practice before the next session. Even when the questions may be simple yes or no answers, they are meant for you to think and consider what it will mean for you. And if a task involves changing your thinking, it means to recognize that the particular thinking is an issue for you, and if so, to actively work on changing it by repeatedly reminding yourself of a new way of thinking. That's cognitive therapy. Your first question today is, are you willing to focus on these initial steps even though you may not get immediate relief? Your first task is to shift your mindset from I can't to what do I need to do now? Your second question is, do you understand that the changes you make will need to be practiced throughout your lifetime? Your second task is to take a few moments throughout your day to practice a short stress management technique. Now, give yourself a few days to focus on these questions and practice the methods before listening to the next podcast. Let's take a moment now and focus on the quick stress relief exercise of tense and release. Begin by tightening all the muscles in your body as tight as you can. Make a fist, raise your shoulders around your ears, furrow your forehead, and curl your toes until all the muscles in your body are very tense and tight. Then, with a sudden sigh, allow every muscle in your body to go completely limp and relaxed. Allow yourself to notice the relaxation as it comes into your body and how different your muscles feel when you let go of tension. And remember, every step forward counts. No matter how small it feels, it matters. Until next time, keep practicing, keep breathing, and keep moving forward.